hello. Yeah, go ahead and take a seat. Thank you so much for being available today for this interview. I'm really excited to go over our questions today. Yeah, I really was impressed by your resume, so I look forward to our conversation today. Yeah, get comfortable. Did you need any water or tea or anything? No, you're good? You had your coffee? Okay. Yeah. Yep. Thank you so much again for being free. I know my schedule has been crazy lately. As you know, I am the what you might call executive or personal assistant to my boss, but now I'm in need of a personal assistant to help me assist. So she has graciously allowed me to expand our team here. So I know that we're in a very professional setting here, but as a personal assistant, we'll be plenty of different places, whether at our boss's home or coffee shops or wherever we may need to be. But here in the office, I felt like it'd be nice for you to kind of see where the hub of everything comes from. Absolutely. Well, now that you're seated, let me go ahead and just get my list here. Yeah. No, yeah, we're excited to touch base with you here today and go over this interview and just kind of see if we're a good match. Okay, so I'm going to also pull up my notes so that I can kind of type away as you're responding, so don't feel distracted or anything. I'm just taking some bullet point notes for me to reference for later. Yeah, so I'll go through my questions, and then if you have any questions for me at the end, we'll have some time for that. Yeah, and if we need to do a follow-up call to answer anything additional, we can definitely do that and set that up. Yeah, okay, so let me pull up your file. Okay. Alright, here we go. Alright, so are you ready? Okay. So, first off, would you like to go ahead and just tell me a bit about yourself and your background? Oh, nice. That's a great school. Okay. So you've been a personal assistant before? Okay. And I just ask what their types of positions were or what they worked in? Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, those industries can tend to be pretty chaotic, so it sounds like you've got your bases covered, at least when it comes to things changing quickly. Okay. And so you moved to the city a few years ago. How do you like it here? You love it? Well, that's good to hear. Sometimes people move to the big city and it's just not their vibe, and that makes total sense. Oh, you do? That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you have a pet to kind of keep you company. Yeah, our boss actually loves pets, so it's really good that you are pet friendly. Are you at all open to being available to take care of our boss's pet here and there? Yeah, it's a dog. Oh, you love dogs, so it should be fine. Okay. Alright, great. Oh, you actually volunteered at a pet shelter, so you're kind of familiar. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I think that's so wonderful. Well, thanks so much for telling me a little bit about yourself. It seems like you've already hit a few items that I was thinking of asking about. But let's go ahead and move on to the next question. So, as far as your personal assistant background and some of the few jobs you had as a personal assistant, what were what was maybe the most challenging task you've done? And maybe describe that a little bit. I know I personally have a ton of stories I could share. But can you think of anything? Oh, wow. Oh, that's always the worst. Wow, okay. Okay. Wow, that is really cool. So it seems like you really kind of took that challenge as it was and not just turned it around, but sort of turned it into something different and unique that left it memorable instead of maybe memorable in a terrible way. Now that's really great. That really shows that you are determined to get to a solution. Yeah. Okay. I'm just typing that. Okay. What personal assistant tasks do you feel you excel at least within the range you've experienced? Okay. Yeah, that's a big important aspect of the job. Yeah, personal communication or, sociability, social cues are just really important. Definitely. So you would say you're not really afraid of public speaking or anything like that if you were put on the spot even? Okay. No, I mean, it sounds like you're communicating really well in this current interview and the initial call I gave you, so I feel like that's in alignment. Okay. So my next question is, what are some other tasks that you've done as a personal assistant that you'd like to share that you haven't already? Okay. Okay. Oh, that's really interesting. I love that. No, I think those are like a variety of different things that truly show your range. My next question is, what do you consider the top 3 skills for a personal assistant, like in your opinion? What do you think the top 3 skills would be? I think that's a great skill. I think that can sometimes be lacking in terms of our industry, and I think it's really important to treat each other as human beings. So I'm really excited that you said that, because I think in our culture it can get really easy to adopt like an ego, but also it's important to advocate for yourself. So it's really a two-way street. I love that, yeah, because that shows that you're willing to connect and be compassionate, but you're also willing to assert your boundaries, which is definitely needed. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's see. How do you manage deadlines? How would you say you manage deadlines? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. it's important to be realistic. That's a great note. And what kind of system do you like to use? Okay. Well, that's a great platform. We do use, I think I noted that in the job description, we do use that specific system. But as far as like, you know, your own personal way of setting things up, we're really open to anything you want to manage as long as we're kind of using similar things like the same calendar, etc. for like the core items that our boss will need to refer to. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Alright, so this next one is, how have you previously managed changes to your client's schedule or your previous employer's schedule? Yeah, just any last minute changes that would come up. How would you have managed that? Okay. Of course. Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, how do you manage needing to multitask? As you know, we're all handling a lot, really no matter what position these days, but as far as multitasking, how do you manage that if you're juggling different items? That's a good point. Yeah, it's just leaving room for incidentals at that point. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you like to have that kind of thing. Okay, I'll write that down. Make sure I note that. Okay, thank you for noting that. Alright, and can you describe a time when you had to think on your feet? So this is a bit different than maybe a challenging moment that you did share earlier, but maybe describe a time, a separate time when you had to kind of just think on your feet in that moment. Oh wow. Oh, that's awful when that happens, yeah. Wow, okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, wonderful. No, I think that really covered a lot of the things that I really wanted to ask about. Now, I mean, this is the portion where you can ask me any questions. Was there anything that you wanted to ask me about? Gotcha. So we do offer, yes, we do offer unlimited PTO. Obviously, there is going to be predetermined dates, so as long as you give a notice ahead of time, it's usually well within, reason to let you take off that time. Because you'll be my personal assistant, I don't see it being too much of an issue where I would need to deny any PTO you request. I usually have a calendar of days where I know I'd absolutely would need assistance, and you would just let me know if you can't make any of those days or nights. And that being said, it is separate from your, emergency or sick time. So if you were sick or an emergency came up, absolutely you do not need to work. There is no reason for that. So I'll go ahead and email you more details of that policy just so you have that and you are clear on all the stipulations. But I do want to preface that we really honor your wellness as a human being, and that you have a life outside of work, and that this is not all that you have in your life. So it's really important for me and my boss that you'd be working for that you have a balanced life, and all we need is communication if you plan to be out of town or out of office on a certain day. So go ahead and send you those details so you have it. So I'll just make a note. Yeah, to us it's just more important that the important work gets done, and that you show that value in the work you do. We're, not really huge on trying to make sure you get 8 hours done in a day. Because we don't really see that being the most fruitful time being spent. So it's just more important that you're staying healthy and you're investing in your life the best way possible, so that when you do show up for work, it really is your best work. Yeah, that's kind of our value system we have here, and it's very flexible. Oh yeah, our boss does not love working on the weekends. They just don't love it. So you won't find yourself working many weekends unless it was like a special conference, and usually that's really scheduled out in the future. But our boss does not want to work on the weekends as much as we don't want to work, so you would not be expected to be present most weekends out of the year. Yeah, same goes for evening shifts or anything like that. Yeah, I think it's really a blessing in disguise that our boss is not a very disorganized person. They're actually very organized, and they are not always kind of giving things last minute for us. It's more kind of like we get the heads up, and then the day-to-day things roll in. So I would say, yeah, you're not really surprised too often. You usually have a few weeks or at least a few days notice of something coming up in terms of a need. And the last minute stuff is usually very small. The big stuff can be very rare. Okay. No, that's important. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, so we offer your own phone, so it's a work phone. I don't recommend using your personal phone with us, just because, when you're on your personal phone, that's your personal phone. You may decide to use your personal phone if you feel like that's easier, you don't want to keep track of another phone, but we would give you your own phone, pay for the plan, and everything included. And that can purely just be for work. So you just let us know if that's something you need, along with like the computer or other equipment you might need. That would be something. Okay. Yes, you are correct. So we do offer some extra funds for you to use towards not just your own personal home office equipment, but we also offer some funds for, like a gym membership, or if you want to do class pass or any type of fitness, we offer a monthly amount for you to be able to invest in that. yeah, it can be anything. I think it's really just dependent on how much per month. So as long as you can give us that information, we can let you know if it can be covered. Any other questions for us? I would say that what I'm looking for most importantly is just really good communication. And you really have given a lot of examples of that, which I really love. And your communication style does match really well with me and my boss. So already those are kind of like things I find really important out of our interview. It's just that our communication styles match and the conversation is flowing and you are sort of asking the right follow-up questions too. So to me, I feel like the strongest thing to look for what we're looking for is definitely strong communication, whether that's speaking or writing or the frequency, and even what you're communicating about is really important to us. And I feel like you do a really good job at that already as far as I'm experiencing, and the relational factor too. Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Absolutely. For me, I think in terms of growth for you, I'd love, to continue to expand. And at first, it's going to be me really guiding you and sort of offering you the exact tasks that you can report directly to me to, but the goal is to have you end up directly reporting to our boss, to be another sidelong personal assistant, sort of like a second one, but at the same level eventually. Yeah, I think we can come up with a trajectory plan for that, yeah. And we can share that with you in terms of timeline. Yeah, I think it could be anywhere from 6 months to a year, generally. That's really when we would end up evaluating. Yeah, there's room for that. Alright. Okay. Are there any other questions you have for me? Let's see. I don't think there's anything else. No. So I'll put that back. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I have today. We had our initial call, so I did go ahead and make some notes from there. And obviously this is kind of like the official interview, but I do feel like you're a really good fit for me. I feel like we really connected and there's like a good rhythm here. So I would love to reach out to you soon once I've discussed more with my boss. So I will probably get back to you within a week at most. And it'll be like a formal email, and then we might follow up on a call as well. But yeah, I really appreciate your time today and going through this with me. And I feel like I have all the information I need. Yeah, let me go ahead. I'll make a note to send the recap of some of the items that you requested, so you can just take a look more at that. But otherwise, I will follow up with you in about a week's time. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and as you head out, feel free to check in with our receptionist, and if you still need any drinks or anything, we can always give you something to go. Yeah, and I think we did get we got like some bagels and donuts in, so if you see any of that, feel free to grab some. Oh, it's no problem at all. Sometimes some of that stuff gets thrown out, and so trying to like not waste too much food. No problem. No, yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to reaching out to you